What's up, everybody? Welcome to new Lightshare Labs. I'm here with Adrian Andre, and today we're gonna be painting boats. Let's jump into it. I'm just starting with my usual grayscale, how I always do this, and just blocking out like mid-tone values and stuff, making sure the composition is correct. Kind of want to just keep this scene simple.
How often do you use that the perspective grid thing?
Probably mostly only with complex scenes. This is just like a more frontal view of this boat, so there's not too much complex perspective grids. It's just like a 1 point, I would say, or like on the left side would be the perspective grid. For this one, I didn't use one. I just kind of eyeballed it because I mostly just want like the gesture of how these boats are moving, you know?
Man, it's kind of insane how quickly it takes shape, you know? Like the value structure and everything. You're quite fast on that.
Did you have like something in mind in terms of like why are you painting boats? Like what is how did it come to this idea?
I just liked the composition, how there's like it's called like a three shape composition where it's like big, medium, small, right? So this center boat is like the biggest focal point in this whole scene. And then I liked how the boats on the right side, it kind of just trails off into like medium and small shapes, as well as the ones in the back. So it's cool how you can make a simple scene feel dramatic still, you know? So like a simple subject matter is boats, you can still make it like kind of nice. You don't have to go like super above and beyond your designs, as long as it looks nice or it's pleasing to the eye. But I wanted to try like a watercolor thing again. Yeah.
So just to be clear, this is not a study, right? Or is it?
Partially it's a study, but I'm grabbing different colors from another reference that I'm using. So I'm not using the local colors from what I'm seeing from the original reference, which is like more brighter blue sky, more saturated tones. I'm going for a more like limited palette here and trying to emphasize like that watercolor look again, but at the same time.
No, you just mentioned like you used two different references, right? Or at least more than one. Does the idea comes first and then you go find references, or do you like see images that inspire you and then you like jump on painting them, or you're like, hey, I like this idea because you saw a reference, and then you search for more reference to complement that with your own voice and your own like personal taste?
Yeah, typically I'll just find the references and make it from those two references I find. So it's not really off the top of my head, because that's still a challenge for me to just come up with something that's from my imagination but look accurate to real life, you know? So I have to like look at some references just to get a spark of imagination. And then from there, I can like work on the fidelity and stuff and make it look a bit nicer. But here mostly I'm just painting in that impressionistic style. Want to, you know, not make it super hyper realistic from the reference, but enough so where it's like this dreamy kind of feel, you know. Just a fun little painting, nothing serious. Nothing to relax with.
One thing we always say about your stuff is that you're quite good at creating that impression or that illusion of detail, you know, where there seems to be a lot of stuff around the image, and when you look closer, it's not like it's not really that much, but like the how should I say this? Like the way you focus that detail is compositionally pleasant, you know?
Yeah, but I would say this is more for like a, it's not for like production ready stuff. I would say this is more like quick painterly stuff. If you want to get ideas down, this is like a nice style to do this in. Obviously, like for more rendered stuff, I would have to like figure out the mechanics of the boat and all the different, handlebars and stuff to make it look accurate. But here we're just getting like an impressionistic read to illustrate like a feeling or a mood, right?
Yeah, exactly. It serves that purpose of like having a rough idea of what the scene could be like. And then if you need to take this further, let's say it's approved, right? Then you'll have to take this and take it to a more
Refined,
polished finish, let's say. Yeah.
Because as of right now, you could use this type of sketch to, photo bash more elements on it if you want to make it like higher fidelity, or just take like some more 3D and like paint that into the scene. So it looks, a lot higher quality.
It's quite interesting to see the process of how you take like what we could say it's a normal image with normal values and all that structure, right? To this very stylized thing of yours where you paint this, I don't know, you called it a dreamy effect or something, right? You see the floor here close to us is no longer that dark. It's quite the opposite. And same story with this hazy kind of effect all around.
Yeah.
I can't see the layers, but I can't imagine how how big that pile of layers is stacking up right now.
It's pretty big, but I think the complicated part of this whole process is like deciding whether that floor should have been blue or if I should have just left it like bright and white, or like a brown color. For this, I just chose like a gradient map and wanted to experiment with, what if I change the color of the ground a little bit to bend reality a little of the color. So I wanted to put that blue and yellow tone. I thought it looked cool, so I just wanted to add that in there. But you see, the thing is, like, you don't have to copy 100% what it looks like in real life. You could try to play around with the colors, see what works, see what doesn't work, and if it feels right, you can go with it. If it doesn't, just keep experimenting.
Also, not a single zoom in I've seen so far. Not one.
I think I'm painting
That
pretty
guy
far.
paints with the big picture in full view at all times. That's insane.
Yeah, that's actually like the hardest part, I think, for me, is because it seems like you have a lot of, as you mentioned, like impressionistic parts of this painting, right? But then you are focusing a lot of the hard edges on that like first row boat there. But the way that you keep like the other ones very loose, like, is that a conscious decision, or are you kind of just like, let me finish this one first and then maybe I'll move to the other ones? Like, I wonder how so you have also like on that part that you're painting right now, or near that, have some like splattery kind of brushes or brush strokes. How like intentional versus happy accent is that, and do you like use them intentionally in other areas of the painting to make everything look less refined elsewhere? Is that a focus kind of tool, or?
Typically, I'm like bouncing around the painting every second. So try not to stay in one spot, I think is good. Like if you're trying to get all areas of the painting at once. Because as we all know, like we can all get stuck rendered on one area for however long, and there's like another part of the painting that's kind of left unrefined. So we want to make sure we hit all targets of the piece. And I try to switch the brushes again, like every few seconds. You can see here, it's like, oh, if this is looking the same, this texture, I'll move on to this texture, like a smoother texture. This area needs a little bit more rougher texture, so I'll just add like a sponge brush or something. And here I'm just like massaging the colors within each other and trying to make that cohesive.
You know what I like about these pieces is like how pressure free they feel, you know? Like you're just free to come up with, you know, whatever you want. Feel free to take it as far as you want, which is what's cool from these practices, you know, like these, let's say, personal pieces, that you can take them as far as you want. And there's no pressure, you know, all these little detail iteration that you're doing right now, that's totally entirely up to you, right? I mean, the whole picture is up to you, but it feels really nice. It removes that stress, you know, of like, oh, I need to make it perfect. Oh no, the perspective here has to be like, you can always complete it with whatever element you consider necessary, you know?
Yeah, it's a good way to just turn your brain off from a lot of thinking, you know, and paint what you see for fun. I think it's good to like not be too serious in all the art that we do. Sometimes you just want to like paint something fun or paint something relaxing, and this is a good way to just go wild with the paintbrush and see what you come up with. And then, you know, later on it'll like speed up your design process as well, because you're making quicker decisions with these fast paint strokes, so it helps for that. But there is like some level to be precise in this. You can't just throw paint around everywhere. You still have to make sure like you got some good shapes, some decent reads, like the mood is on point, the colors work with each other. So there's still that to think about.
Do you make these in one sitting?
This one took about 3 hours because I was like frustrated finagling with all the other parts of the painting, like the color, for example. And typically, if I want to take longer, it's like 5
hard
hours.
Painting is like 3 hours, right? Gotcha.
I'll have to take longer if I want to make this more detailed, of course. But yeah, thanks guys for watching. That was the end of this video process. Hope you guys liked it. And
Great
that being
one.
said, we'll see you in the next Lightshare Labs. Take care, guys.
See you next time, guys. Bye-bye.